Hello, I'm Pseudo Drifter, and this is the audio commentary from my Driver San Francisco New Game Plus any percent speedrun. Right off the bat, we've got something called Warzone Skip. Our cop buddy, whose name's Jones, he speaks in the yellow dialogue box. He has a line that says, I wouldn't bring a date back to your place until you've done something with it first. It looks like a war zone in there. Now, if you are going quick enough, you can hit the loading trigger for the next cutscene before you hear the word Warzone. Now, I have a sneaky way of making sure I get that. I turned it to Spanish. Now I'm definitely not going to hear Warzone. Now, there are two ways that you can improve your speed in Driver San Francisco. That is by implementing racing lines and minimizing wheel spin. Now, if you'll notice here, I am cutting across as much sidewalk as I possibly can. Not only is that the shortest distance, it is the smallest amount of turning I have to do to the steering wheel. The more you turn the steering wheel, the more speed you lose to turning. By taking a very specific route, you can maintain a lot of speed. So, seems like Jericho's stolen the only police van that's got nitrous. So, don't worry about him catching up with us so quick. Also, he's got the only police van that's made of depleted uranium, so that car that went flying, don't worry about that either. Now, the traffic is not 100% random. There are some things you can manipulate, and some sections where it's all scripted. This section, every vehicle placement is scripted. However, the speed with which they move changes slightly. I was actually looking to see if I could find Jericho. If you keep your eyes on him, when the icon switches from red to yellow, you can see him poof into nothing. So, in this next section, sir, excuse me, sir, sir, I need your insurance, sir, please stop, sir, I need your insurance information. Man, he's a jerk. So we skipped a very important cutscene. Jericho pushes us into traffic, we get in a bad accident and wake up in that empty lot.
A todas las unidades en Fillmore, se necesita escolta para ambulancia. Accidente grave, por favor, responded.
Now, this section right here is implementing racing lines to go a lot faster. Normally, you'd have to battle with that cop to go fast through that traffic, but by going straight through instead of making the S-curve, you go much, much faster. This section is quite annoying. When this little vignette ends, the car will crank the steering wheel all the way to the right. Unless you are turning all the way to the left, you'll just go veering off to the side. It's an annoyance. I have no idea why that happens. I'm actually doing a couple of odd little things here. I'm driving on the sidewalk and slamming into this building. By driving on the sidewalk, I set up a racing line by going all the way to the far outside and cutting as close to the center as I can before going all the way back out. Also, the sidewalk is pavement. You can stop and turn a lot faster on pavement than you can on dirt. By doing all the important stopping, I can just kind of scoot through the dirt, no problem. Speaking of important stopping, I slammed into that building to bring the car to a complete halt. The cutscene will only trigger when the car has stopped moving. So by slamming into the wall, you can slow down a bit quicker.
Sigue así, solo quedan 2 manzanas.
Sí, sí.
Nunca te había visto conducir así.
So the other way that you can improve your speed in Driver San Francisco is by minimizing wheel spin. If you go through a corner too quickly, the and hold the gas down, the drive wheels will start spinning out of control. You'll be burning rubber, as they say. I'll point out a few examples. By cutting down excessive wheel spin, you can put more power to the pavement and go faster. Now, you might have noticed me mashing the X button. I do that to help out the developers. It seems like all of the important stuff was set to the face buttons, and they still had the X button left over. So they decided to put the objective button in there so that you can check your objective frequently. And so I do. I check it as frequently as I can. So coming up, I am going to deliberately slam into a minivan. By doing this, I can improve how quickly I shift into that vehicle. Oh yeah, by the way, we've got quantum leap powers now. We can jump into other people and drive around their car. It's pretty cool, I think. It's alright, I guess. So, there is a manipulation that you can do to spawn a taxi closer to you. The game wants you to go into a taxi to keep going in the next part of this mission. If you run over a telephone booth and then do a 360 spin, the taxi will spawn in the intersection directly across from you. It's facing directly at you. The actual spawn conditions for the taxis are dependent on your position and which way the camera is facing. So running over the phone booth and doing the donut are just setting up the timing. There is a small animation that plays if you drive towards this mission instead of shifting towards it. The game will zoom out, go above the taxi cab, and Tanner will say, "Hey, that's more my style." And then it'll give you a little pop-up that says, "Hey, this is how you do missions." If you just shift straight from the taxi into the mission car as the mission appears, you can cut out that entire animation. I actually got very, very lucky traffic there. This route is very tight. The timing is pretty precise. I need to get 10 overtakes before I go off of a ramp. Otherwise, I'll have to turn around, go off the ramp again, and then turn around to keep going. It's very bad. It's a big time waste. I was actually going too quickly through here. I would have been going too fast. That car I rear-ended, though, slowed me down just enough. Now, coming up at the end of this little section is something called red skip. As you noticed, I've got a minute and a half to get to the showroom. If I can get there in a minute or less, the timer will stay just like it is, white numbers on a black background. Under 30 seconds, it starts flashing red and white, signifying that you're running out of time. If you're fast enough, you'll get red skip and you will not see any red numbers. That's difficult for a couple of reasons. This section right here, I've been cut off by traffic pretty bad. That was an example of wheel spin. The back tires were just spinning, I wasn't getting any grip. It looks cool, it sounds cool, all the cool kids do it, but it's not fast. That turn where I rear-ended the black car is a blind corner. It's very quick to cut through there, but you can't really see the traffic behind all the junk in the way, all the traffic barriers and sidewalk railings and all that other nonsense. So I took a gamble, and I got bit. Wasn't bad.
Un momento. ¿Dónde demonios está mi coche? ¿Dónde está mi cuerpo? Tengo que encontrar a Jones.
You can actually select Tanner's car from around the corner without seeing it
¿Qué
first.
está pasando?
It's a little tricky to get, and if there's any traffic that's spawned in between
Debo
that
encontrar ese
wall
coche
and
patrulla y
Tanner's car,
ayudarles como pueda.
you'll jump into it instead. Now, both of these vehicles, the patrol car and the getaway vehicle, are invincible until you start the mission. Okay, thank you, game. I gotcha.
Hora de empujar las cosas.
Now, there is a setup for a quick kill to take down this one
¿Dónde
person.
estoy? Pilla un coche.
I
Detén a los malos.
was too jumpy. If you line up the patrol car behind the felon first, and then shift into a vehicle to hit the felon head on,
Y echar a ese tipo de la carga.
the felon will bounce off of the car that head-on collisioned him and bounce into the patrol car who's following really close. So it's just kind of a plonk plonk
Con un
done.
poco de ayuda ciudadana.
This wasn't the fastest, but it wasn't awful. Don't worry, there's an awful takedown section in this run. Okay, now that we can get back inside Tanner's vehicle, we're going to be shooting for something called parole skip.
No vas a creer.
There's a line that Jones says that goes, he's cut a break, he's out on parole. If you're going quick enough, you can cut out the word parole and Tanner's entire line following that.
Debía de estar
I do not get that.
Deja de soñar despierto. Vamos a...
I do not get that because of a taxi.
Vale, Jericó anda suelto por ahí.
It's this taxi.
Sabemos que no preparó la huida solo.
Ya veo. Buscamos a alguien capaz de disparar.
I wasn't able to implement my racing line because he was in the way.
Posiblemente.
It would have been slower to slam into him and stick to the racing line than take the brakes and go around. And because of that, I missed out on parole skip.
Sin duda alguna.
Oh well, sometimes the traffic screws you.
Moverse rápido para pillar a Jericó.
Hagámoslo en plan vieja escuela. Remover la basura y ver dónde nos llevan las cucarachas.
Vamos con los nombres. ¿Qué pasa con Jimmy Herrera?
En San Quintín. ¿Ordel Williams?
Un momento. ¿Está en condicional?
No es
Now,
mucho, pero algo es.
there are a couple of differences between New Game Plus and New Game proper. The differences only show up after this prologue section when you enter Chapter 1. Not only do you get to keep your ability upgrades, but all of the vehicles you've unlocked also carry over. The vehicles carrying over isn't important in a speed run at all. You're not going to be doing any free driving. Everything's just going to be straight to missions. This one is incredibly difficult on New Game
Eso sería una gran
because
tragedia para el resto de San Francisco.
these cops are tenacious. Most of the time they're tenacious. I got an incredibly lucky break by having all three cops smash into each other's
Dios, hoy me
Keystone
siento
Cops
vivo.
style.
¿Tú no? ¿Todo parece tan positivo?
Normally, you would have to make a few sketchy turns around a cafe to lose them. There is a shopping plaza where the destination is that you can enter early. The cops have a hard time negotiating 90-degree turns, especially over sidewalks. The AI cops don't like to drive on sidewalks, and you can take advantage of that by turning into this grayed out area on the right. That's the shopping plaza. By going around there in a circle a few times, the cops will get confused and you can get away.
Este Ordel está intentando escalar
But
puntos en la
I didn't have to worry
organización de
about it this
Jericó.
time.
No puedo dejar pasar
Traffic
esta
does
oportunidad.
work in your favor,
Tengo que ayudarle
so it's kind of a
todo
give
lo
and
que
take.
pueda. Ordel Williams y Darius Spencer. Delincuentes de poca monta, pero trabajan para Jericó. Habrá que vigilar.
So this is a fun little mission. The point of this mission is to terrorize this mean driving instructor. He's picking on this poor little teenage kid named Craig, and because Craig is really bad at driving. So to put this driving instructor in his place, we're gonna scare the poops out of him.
Dije en la escuela, necesito control doble, pero no. Esto no tiene gracia, Craig. Frene un poco. ¡Uah!
Now there are two ways to spook passengers very quickly. That is by driving at high speed in oncoming traffic and drifting in oncoming traffic. By going at high speed, you get a little mark if you keep above 120 miles an hour. Every second or every other second, you'll get +2 beats per minute. If you're drifting, you can get between 4 and 10, or 12 in this case. It's a lot riskier though, because you are sliding wildly back and forth in oncoming traffic. As you see, sometimes you just wreck, even with being careful. So, there is a bit of manipulation that you can do with these jump trucks. The game wants you to go jumping off of a car transporter. By running over that sign, it causes a ramp truck to spawn in the intersection directly to the right. Always. Mostly always, I should say. The only times that setup doesn't really work is when traffic gets in the way. Traffic almost got in the way for this setup, but I barely got it. Now, something interesting is you don't really need to follow the jackass for this mission. It only helps because that's less distance you have to move while you're shifting. It's minor, but makes a difference. This was incredibly bad luck. The game refused to spawn a police officer for a while. There we go, finally. This was actually outstanding luck. I only look back for a brief second, but Tanner's car got in the way of the cop, so both of them ran into each other, and the cop couldn't turn around in time. That rarely happens. This is usually a very difficult escape, mainly because the Pontiac Solstice isn't very quick. It doesn't have very high acceleration or top speed.
Ya veo, 50 pavos a que cuando lo alcancen ya lo lleva a una grúa. Como quieras, tío, es tu dinero.
And this is more astounding luck. I've not been able to get the tow trucks to reliably spawn in any fashion. Same for the police cars. But the tow trucks are right jerks. They are real pains because they have a habit of spawning 3 blocks away. So I guess a brief overview for this one. You perform stunts for a news camera crew. All the stunts, save for the big finale, all take place in the same intersection, the one we're currently driving to.
Asegúrate de que la cámara graba.
Soy Jack. Espero que esto sea bueno. Vamos allá. Coches pasando a toda velocidad, los ojos bien abiertos.
I actually got extraordinarily lucky with this one. I managed to snag one of the rare vehicle spawns. A DeLorean. Oh yeah. I'm all excited, I'm honking.
Pero no ha estado mal.
Ya tenemos velocidad. Ahora vamos a quemar rueda.
Es increíble que vayas a comprarme un coche.
Rueda quemada. Me encanta.
Derrapar mola, pero quiero ver coches chocando de frente.
I actually have a bit of difficulty with this one. The 2 main avenues of traffic are curves, so it makes lining up for a head-on a little tricky. Plus, that giant blue wall doesn't help you see traffic either. There's another... this jerk. I was not able to get around that guy because both of us were turning left at the same time. That was almost a reset, because that was just nonsense.
A ver, ¿quién quiere dar? Vamos a darle a Jeff lo que quiere. Solo tengo que hacer de flautista de Amelín con unos polis y hacerles pasar por el aro.
So I make a bit of an error here. I decide to hit this cop
Minutos de fama.
and try and turn around on a hill. The Chevelle doesn't have the greatest of grip to begin with, so putting it on an incline and then trying to turn around, it was very, very slow. This can be done a lot faster, especially because the intersection that I just passed, as well as right before this alley,
Venga, a agarrarse todo el mundo.
cops will spawn.
¡Eh!
I just got a little greedy.
Eso es todo. Esto huele a premios. ¿Premio la gente es idiota?
Here are my two favorite characters, Ayumu and June. June's the one doing the racing. Ayumu is his co-pilot.
Casi nada, oye.
Ayumu, me siento seguro de mí mismo.
¿Crees que podremos lograrlo?
Creo que nos van a hacer una estatua. Agárrate.
There are two ways for you to complete the race missions. You can either go through the route as intended, or you can shift into oncoming traffic and take down those punks. That was actually a big mistake on my part. I was trying to cut a very small turn even tighter. It would not have realistically saved any time by going to that side and risking running into traffic.
¿Media carrera?
Y dando una lección.
Now, I'll be completing all of the races except for two of them. There are two instances when it's faster just to smash the other guys out of the way to completely disable their vehicles.
John, es como si estuvieses poseído.
Ah, me lo dicen mucho hoy.
And apparently, Yumu thinks we're Poseidon or something. I don't know. I don't speak Spanish.
Somos los primeros, chócala.
Estoy conduciendo y no hago esas cosas.
I like to make my races photo finish.
Sí.
¿Qué te
As in
dije?
traffic court
Sin
photo
problema.
finish. Now, it should be noted that you can't actually select a mission from the maximum shift height, or what I'll call the overworld from now on.
Soy Sara.
You can only teleport into vehicles if you're at shift level 2 or closer to the ground.
Tienen agallas. Aguanta, Sara. Vamos de camino.
It makes it a little inconvenient that every mission starts all the way zoomed out, but with some routing, as far as the movement on the overworld map is concerned,
¿Dónde estás?
it can be
No sé,
negated.
el sonido es distinto, como atravesar un túnel pequeño.
O un paso subterráneo. Allá vamos, Sara.
Vale, Sara.
There's a teeny tiny dialogue skip that you can do in this section.
No he dado ninguna.
It's very minimal and is
El hospital está cerca.
pretty random on if you get it or not. It also is completely dependent on traffic.
Hola.
Jones gets annoyed that the
¿Ahora qué?
phone broke, and he says, "What now?" You can skip out the "What now" line by going quickly. Fortunately, there was cars in my way, and I couldn't cut that turn as quick as possible. Hey, you guys like video games, right? Well, you can't have a video game without QuickTime events.
Al embarcadero. Vamos. ¿Qué? Estaba ahí en el maletero. Lo abrí.
Avísame cuando hagas esas cosas. Quiero saber si eres Tanner o un piloto automático.
Lo siento.
Váyate. ¿Qué? ¿La carretera no está bien asfaltada? Venga, vamos allá, tipo duro. ¿Dónde está?
En el centro. ¿Seguro que está en el centro?
Me va a llevar un tiempo acostumbrarme a esta locura psíquica.
Venga, Sara.
The loading trigger for this next cutscene, where you pull into the cafe, is actually a pretty good distance away from the cafe itself. If you can make it into one of the other branches of the intersection, the closest one, you can actually load the cutscene and be nowhere near it. There we go. Flawless. So, this little section is annoying. For whatever reason, it doesn't let you shift into vehicles quickly, and it slows down. The game really wants you to make sure you hit the target head on. Now, hitting something head on usually results in a takedown animation, so I'm gonna try and avoid that. Well, poo sticks.
Muy bien.
So yeah, this kind of comes
¿Qué
unraveled.
pasa hoy?
Toca timar al seguro.
Música celestial.
Now, the AI drivers are programmed to avoid you pretty good. There are ways to confuse their AI to make hits easier to get. When you're approaching one of them from head-on, you can waggle the control stick back and forth fast enough your car doesn't turn left or right. It'll more or less keep going straight. The AI drivers will do the same, and it wouldn't matter which direction you faked them out, you would more than likely miss them. Or in this case, they'd just keep going straight into you. Waggling the control stick, though, is a little unreliable, because when you need to actually turn and you're turning the wrong way,
Tenemos una
it's
descripción parcial
a
de la
little tricky.
secuestradora y su vehículo. Podría llevar...
It looks like it's a game of Good Samaritan, Bad Samaritan. So I guess I should take a second to explain the different icons. The stars are pursuit or chase missions, the lightning bolts are stunt missions, the locked ones are obviously locked story missions. Story missions themselves have a T on them, T for Tanner.
Seguro que no quieres que coja.
And the last one would be the race missions. They're the ones with the flag. Now, the takedown animation canceling can be a little bit tricky. One of the first abilities you unlock is the ability to ram other vehicles. You do that by charging up the ram and releasing it when you get close to them. If you miss the ram, you get slowed down and it's all bad. If you release a ram and shift away right as the ram slams into a vehicle you want to take down, you'll be able to skip the takedown animation. It'll just be in shift mode, your car bouncing into the bad guy spinning away in tears.
Venga, un chimpancé lo haría mejor al volante.
I believe this mission can be further optimized. You don't need to grab you don't need to run over every single street ad. So, I don't have a definitive route for which ones you need to hit and which ones you can miss. A few of them are fairly obvious, though.
Vaya.
I mean, like that one? That's all the way out there. Man, forget that. It's gonna throw up my throw off my rhythm for the hairpins.
Gary, tengo una reputación en esta ciudad. No puedo ir en un coche destrozado.
Sí, seguro que tienes una reputación.
¿Aún crees que me vas a chafar la fiesta hoy, Capé?
Si no hoy, será pronto.
Después de hoy, Lil Payne va a subir tanto que vas a necesitar un helicóptero para llegar hasta él. Gary, te daría un beso. No lo voy a hacer, pero podría.
From about this point onwards, traffic really becomes my enemy. I also panic a little bit, right here. I was not expecting that minivan to be there. This section, it's very, very important to boost up this sidewalk. It's an uphill curve. So it's got 2 strikes against your speed already. 1, you're going uphill. And 2, you're turning. So if you don't take the shortest route and boost up that shortest route, you can waste a lot of time. Or rather, you'd go much slower.
Vale, ¿qué tenemos?
Hay un vehículo similar al de la descripción en el centro, cerca de la Catedral de la Gracia.
Ah, gracias a Dios.
I can't figure out what country this Spanish accent is from. It sounds a lot like mainland Spain. Or
La doctora
Cuban.
Allen describió un coche deportivo europeo.
I'm betting the
Sigamos con el
first.
coche. Sabemos quién era la del cuchillo. Hemos resuelto un caso.
Now the tree that I narrowly missed there is one of the few solid objects on the sidewalk. You can plow through just about everything else besides those trees and cars.
Buen pilotaje.
So, you guys like video games, right? You can't have a video game without an auto-scroller.
Tírate un poco, pero no la pierdas.
We have to tail this
Esto,
suspect.
hasta aquello, eres peor que mi madre.
There's only one small area where you can speed it up, and that's not until the very, very end. So, since I gotta go slow, I might as well entertain myself by being as inconspicuous as possible.
Empezamos a entendernos. Central, aquí 40, Adam 30.
Screeching tires and honking horns. She doesn't have a clue we're following her.
Recibido.
Te sacaré también una foto.
Inconspicuous as bird shit.
Entendido.
Sí, sí, ya lo he visto antes. ¿Cuántos coches te cargas al mes?
Ah, perdí la cuenta hace mucho.
40 Adam 30, ¿me recibes?
¿Podéis decirnos algo?
El vehículo pertenece a una octogenaria de Idaho.
Sí, alguien le ha robado el coche a la mujer.
Sí, pasamos la foto por la base de datos.
I guess
pero
this would be a good time to explain a couple of concepts that you would
Tengo un presentimiento.
hear in conjunction with lots of racing games. Understeer and
Pisa el
oversteer.
acelerador, se está alejando demasiado.
Now, all of my drifting here is oversteer.
40
I'm
Adam 30, aquí central. Interpol
turning
tiene
too
registro
sharp
de esa
in the back of
foto.
the car
Al parecer es
is
una ciudadana
sliding
americana de ascendencia
out.
egipcia. Laila Shah.
Understeer is the opposite. You're going forward too much, and when you turn the wheels, you can't actually turn. The car just keeps going straight.
Y no solo por su aspecto físico.
The Hummer H3 is very bad about this, and I'll complain about it more when we see it.
Se convirtió en algo.
Right now, this is a section where you can skip a large amount of time. Layla Sharon is scripted to beat you over the Golden Gate Bridge, so if you take advantage of racing lines and boost and avoid traffic, she can go flying up this on-ramp at supernatural speeds. I got her to do it a little bit, but not a whole lot. There's another mission where you can do something similar, but that's not until much later. Be free, my little pylon babies. Be free.
Está ahí. No puedo atravesarlo. ¿Eso qué? Vale, sin duda tienes que ir a los...
Oh god, no! That car just ran him over. Oh, Jeffrey, no!
Hay que
No!
dejarla ir. Tú confía en mí.
poor babies.
Al menos sabemos a quién buscamos. Confía en mí.
So there's nothing we could do to actually cut that dialogue. You just kind of gotta sit there and listen.
Apuesto a que
So I
es la
mashed the
tiradora
X
del
button.
helicóptero, lo que
That's gonna be a
significa
returning
grabar.
theme. Also, if you hear a small sound that goes dong or thonk, that's me hitting the A button when I can't actually shift. You only hear it occasionally in the background. So, we're back with our best boys, Ayumu and June.
Responsabilidad, la que pone sobre mis hombros.
My favorite racers. This time, we're in a car that has really bad oversteer problems. If you have the gas on and you're turning at the same time in this car, you will start sliding.
¿Intentas matarnos o qué?
Supongo que la familia Nakamura se hará cargo si
That was
perdemos este
actually
coche en una apuesta.
a bit of an interesting circumstance. Some of the curbs in the game have real hit detection. Like, if you're driving a car that's too low, it will catch the undercarriage on the curb, just like what happened there. 3 of the wheels made it up the curb, but the last one got caught. Slid my car around, and cost me some time. Close to the end of the game, we'll be taking advantage of one of those glitches
Si ganamos, se
for
acabaron las
good.
carreras callejeras.
It's an easy way to escape the cops.
No importan unos arañazos, siempre que ganemos. Si vuelvo a Nagoya,
That's an
me
instant.
obligarán a hacerme
I
el
should have been
túmulo
honking my horn.
familiar en la espalda.
If I had been honking my horn, the silver car would not have drove across, or it would have gone across incredibly quickly and cleared my path.
Sigue así, si
I didn't
alguien
honk in time, so I suffered the
Si
results.
dices de donar órganos,
Lo que digo es que te debo. Vamos en cabeza.
In this long sweeping turn, taking the racing line is very important. Sticking to the inside of that corner
Ayumu las cosas no
is
siempre
the
serán.
fastest way.
¿Qué?
There's a
¿Vas
lot
ver
less
mi
distance you have to
manera de
travel.
conducir así? Cállate y gana de una vez.
Oh no.
Somos ricos.
Está casi hecho.
Paso de la universidad, ganémonos la vida así.
Oh, you guys. Oh, you guys. So this is the first mission where takedown animation canceling really makes a big difference.
Vale, vamos a
All,
presentarles
all of those guys are grouped really close together. So
Esto nunca
you need
cansa.
to take them, it's easy to take them all down as a group.
Ha empezado la
For
clase.
example,
Siguiente.
3 of them just slammed into the side of that bus, becoming damaged, and the 4th one was taken down outright.
Eliminados, dos. ¿Quién quiere un
So the rest of
nuevo
these just need
compañero
little bitty
al
taps.
volante? Esos tipos creen que la tienen en el bolsillo.
So that one got
Sorpresa.
wrecked. I didn't have to watch
Espero
the
que todos
animation.
podamos sacar algo
Jumped
de
right back
esto.
into my car and wrecked the other one.
Nos vemos en la comisaría para celebrar.
It's very likely the second car would have gotten away if I watched the takedown animation. It really does take that much time. In fact, I can promise you, it does happen in one of the later missions. So, you guys like auto-scrollers, right? Well, can't have a game without a real auto-scroller.
Una cosa, no sabes pilotar helicópteros.
No
So the
quiero
plot is
pilotar.
we're looking for
Quiero hacer la vigilancia.
SUV full of
Estos son
stolen
unidades
platinum,
terrestres, ya lo pillaré.
but there's a lot of red SUVs in San Francisco. So to look at as many as possible, we teleport into a news chopper.
Ahora tenemos que
Survey,
sobrevolar Madrid
please
para
chopper.
dar con la carrera callejera.
Nuevas instrucciones al centro. Buscamos
It's
un
in the air,
todoterreno
it goes
rojo
thop
que
top
contiene
top,
platino robado.
and
Comprendido,
it's
señor.
not doing
Monitoraré
donuts
las
or being
comunicaciones.
fun.
Usted escanee los vehículos con la retícula. Se marcarán los que salgan en la base de datos.
Now scanning vehicles with that reticle, actually kind of
Parece
difficult.
una carrera callejera.
That
Ahora
thing
no es
is
nuestra prioridad.
wonktacular. Unfortunately, there's nothing that really can be done to speed up this auto-scroller. The only thing you can do to speed it up comes at the very, very end, and that is highlighting and scanning the correct vehicle before it even gets on screen.
Los servicios de emergencia al completo.
I didn't do it perfectly, but I did pretty good. At this point, I think I've... Oh yeah, I set down my controller and went and peed.
Sí, es un accidente de los gordos.
Oh, Dios.
Eso no se ve todos los
Whoa!
días.
¿En serio?
Can't have a video game
Bueno,
without
no es
explosions.
quien buscamos.
Now, pro tip for those of you who want to skip this auto-scroller and go make a sandwich or something, when you hear the words, "Whoa, hell, this thing can climb," and go over the cathedral, that's when you need to be back.
Sí, este coche nuevo es una belleza, ¿verdad?
Oh, pay attention to the names. Gareth Mastrocola. Someone hated their kid.
No.
Oh, a little too early.
Un
Sarah
todoterreno
Ray.
rojo y he robado.
Huh. That kid's name is Vehicle Stolen. Wow.
Puede que esté el platino.
Jeez.
A ver,
Predetermined destiny much?
3 cajas pesadas estropeando el cuero y un arma en el asiento del pasajero.
Now,
Este es el tipo.
this Range Rover does handle a little bit differently than normal Range Rovers on account of all the platinum in it. It sits a little bit lower down, and it has different handling characteristics. Unfortunately, having a whole bunch of heavy platinum does not make it push cars out of the way easier. I was kind of disappointed. I was hoping that it would be like freight train mode from the first driver, where your car has infinite weight and will shove everything else out of the side. Comically so. No such luck. Now, the intended route is to keep going straight, but there are bad men in that route, so I go a different way. I think with how sharp the turns are going this route, it is faster to stick to the intended route. However, those guys are a huge pain, especially when it comes to driving something as unwieldy as the big rig. To be fair, though, the big rig itself doesn't handle it doesn't handle bad. It handles like all of the other super heavy vehicles. It's just that the camera... Whoa! Easy, Michael Bay. It's just that the camera is stuck to the back of the trailer, as opposed to the back of the thing pulling the trailer. If you want to ram those exploding guys, you can. If you time it correctly, it will do barely any damage, about as much damage as a glancing blow. And a glancing blow is when you strike like the side of a vehicle, like a side swipe, or the front of the front corner of your car going into the side of another car. And it's those kind of jerks why I go the different route. This was unfortunate. This was extraordinarily unfortunate. I thought the whole thing was dead. It happened pretty quickly, but one of the enemy drivers hit the back of my trailer, which shoved the rig forward and to the left, bouncing it off of a wall, and skidding nicely to a halt, staring directly at the other wall. I was lucky I didn't fail. Alright, so it is very, very important that we stick with this police escort. We need to follow them as closely as... No, we don't. See you later, nerds! Haha. By implementing racing lines, we can easily move in front of the cops, who will avoid sidewalks and taking shortcuts through corners.
Deprisa, Ryan. No pierdas esa escolta. Mucha gente depende de nosotros.
Vale.
Si no llegamos al objetivo en, digamos, un minuto,
Habrá bajas.
muchísimas.
Vale.
This route's actually really easy to remember. It's the turn right before the freeway overpass. I was doubly lucky because there was a bus there. It functioned as a nice little bumper to help shove me through the corner. Wasn't as fast as taking it clean, but hey, I took it. So yeah, we don't need an escort. We're our own escort.
Ahora, a acelerar.
For whatever reason, this jerkbag is incredibly difficult to hit head-on. I have no idea why he specifically gives me so much trouble. The car isn't particularly fast, either. The Dodge Monaco, while very pimpin', is
Vale, creo que ya me he hartado de ti.
not very maneuverable.
Sí, come parachoques. En serio, tío, estás empezando a cabrear.
Alright, now that I got him pinned, I can slam into him head-on. Which will finish the mission. If I hit him. Crap.
Nadie aterroriza esta
Hey,
ciudad,
perfect.
¿está claro?
I still got the takedown animation cancel. This is one of the races where we're going to destroy all the other racers instead of actually finishing the route. It's a team race. There's 2 good guys, 2 red guys.
El clásico equipo padre e hija deja a su paso un rastro de punkis calcinados. Pues ya sé de qué lado ponerme. Venga,
It's pretty
John,
freaking nice. The
conducir
game
los
gives
coches
you
a
a
la
bus
vez.
right there
Es
that you
muy
can
fácil.
throw at him right at the beginning.
Vale, a ver si podemos evitar la catástrofe. Será mejor que te calles y te hagas. Vale, la mitad del equipo está en buena forma. La otra mitad necesita algo de ayuda. Vale, Richmond Racing van bastante bien. Si
That was a
acaso,
mistake.
por asegurar.
However,
Dos
if I
volantes
had
girando y están los dos en cabeza.
gone through with the ram instead of shifting away at the last second, he would have... I would have had to watch the takedown animation. I think that was slower than just letting him go for the time being. I'll go back to it. How fortunate. I dislike this mission for a
Vamos
couple
a
of
llevar este
reasons.
trasto al laboratorio.
Una grúa espera a la vuelta de la manzana siguiente.
For one,
La vamos a
it's a
necesitar.
timed defense mission. After we
Al pasar
hook
la
up
esquina está el
the
camión remolque.
Jericho's
No
old
veo a
van
ninguno de nosotros. ¿Qué
to
paranoico?
the tow truck,
Por suerte no es nuestro
we got to
camión.
get to a place. And then defend it from incoming attackers who want to
Ya
ram
están
into it and screw it
enganchados.
up.
En marcha.
Dios, qué rápidos.
Esos tipos no pierden el tiempo.
¿Estamos remolcando el vehículo en el que huyó Jericó?
Sí, los chicos de Jericó estarán buscándolo. Y nosotros
That is
sin escolta.
absolutely a lie.
Estás de broma. Bueno, estoy metido
It's
en
a
esto,
fairly
así que al
contrived
menos voy a
reason
disfrutar.
for
Ese es
bad
el
guys to be
espíritu.
coming
Mejor
after it.
pecar de bravucón que de tostón,
I
¿eh?
skipped a cutscene
No,
where
justo a tiempo.
Jericho
Creo que
parks
es-
his van. Tanner and Jones find it, and it explodes. There's no way an exploded car could be drivable, especially not in this game.
Si quieres bajar, no me importa.
¿Me tomas el pelo? Sigue adelante.
Also, I made a poor judgment. I decided to stray from the normal route to avoid these two problem thugs that come at you head-on when you go down the alley. Alleys are really bad when it comes to avoiding cars coming straight at you. A lot less room to maneuver. As a result, I had to go I had to go 3 blocks out of my way. Not fun. All because there was a bridge. There is a way to speed up this type of mission. Since you have to wait for the timer to tick down. It's more efficient to stay in the vehicles. The timer slows down whenever you're in shift mode. It goes at like 2/3 speed, something similar. I haven't tested it. All I know is to go quickly, you need to stay in the car as much as possible. So that's why I picked a vehicle right next to the van to start with. There's something very, very fortunate though. Watching the takedown animations costs no time. It goes at the same speed all the way through the whole animation. So it's better to watch the animations. However, I've seen these animations too many times, and the fact that it takes control away from the player annoys me too much. Also, during defense missions, enemy vehicles are a lot more fragile. All it takes is one head-on to knock them out, for the most part. The other defense mission, thankfully there's only 2 of these, the other defense mission has Dodge pickup trucks. Very large Dodge pickup trucks. So take a look at the top of this taxi and remember it a little bit. That'll come into play later. Aw, man. That was a bummer. Alright. You see that one? Alright, cool. Remember that stuff. And double takedown. Alright, this is where takedown animation canceling makes a big difference. Because the sooner all 4 of them are dead, the sooner the mission ends. By animation takedown canceling, you don't sit there and stare at the wreckage for 5 minutes. I was quite annoyed that was considered a glancing blow instead of an actual hit. But even though it was a glancing blow, it still did a lot of damage. It did enough damage so that one rear-end collision would take him out. So here's another one of the terrorized missions. Due to traffic, I ended up missing my turn and take a long way around. It's just as well because I was planning on trying a different route through here, and I probably would have ended up going slow anyways, even if I made my turn.
Ese tipo es un don nadie. Nunca ha logrado nada. Un saco lleno de pasta suele influir en perdedores como él. Deja de rayar el coche.
¿Seguro que está cerca del puente?
Solo sé que suele parar en un lugar tranquilo cerca de aquí para papear.
Si va conduciendo un coche.
There is a funny little thing you can do here. If you shift out, as you approach that, the cutscene camera will go all wonky and you can drive around your car before you shift into this vehicle. Of course, you can take advantage of that to run into the vehicle you're supposed to be sneakily observing. Also, I really think that this is a sad mission. John Tanner is completely ruining the relationship between these two guys. Leap! Oh yes, jumps will always give you 10, no matter how tiny they go. If you get points for doing a jump, it counts it as plus 10 beats per minute. I was somewhat disappointed with this one, actually. I bumped into the cars way too many times, and made a few errors. Oh no, I'm thinking of a different mission. No, this one's almost over, actually. So, if there's anybody stuck in this part of the mission, here's an easy tip. Slam on the brakes, go left. It works every single time. Because the 3 enemies start behind you at maximum speed, when the cutscene loads, they're going way too fast to stop and turn left. So even when you screw it up and you get rear-ended like I did, they're still going too quickly. They can't recuperate in time. And since I won the mission, I was just trying to trash this car. Because snitches get stitches, Haynes. I wrecked your car for that. I didn't actually wreck his car, I just damaged. Anyways, on to the next stunt mission. I believe there's still some optimizing that can be done as far as overworld movement goes. Movement when you're at the maximum shift height. I think, I believe that can be routed better, especially in the later chapters. Whenever you end a mission, that is where the cursor is when the overworld loads in again. So by choosing missions in a certain order, you can shorten the time you spend traveling between where the cursor was and where the next mission is. For example, this one started in the middle of downtown, which was relatively close to where we escaped from the thugs in Haynes' beat-up Shelby. This one ends practically right next to the final Tanner mission. I also made an error in navigating there. The intended route is to keep going straight on the road instead of making a left into the alleyway. If you continue to go straight, you follow the same path that you and Jones did in going to the precinct. Hey, there we go. No one will suspect a thing. Witness protection at its best. Oh yeah, there were bad men there. There were lots of bad men.
Hemos enviado un nuevo lugar a tu PDA. Oh, tenemos otro problema.
¿Y ahora?
Tengo un dispositivo online para caso de muerte. Si no uso un ordenador inmediatamente, saldrán a la luz un montón de archivos.
Tío. Oso Polar, espero que estéis preparados porque vamos a toda mecha.
I almost missed this turn.
Y yo que creía que antes conducías como un lunático.
Pues todavía puedo hacerlo mucho peor.
¡Santo Dios!
Unfortunately, you don't get paranoia increases for running into traffic.
Gracias, supongo.
De nada. Disfruta de la tele.
This one has a couple of funky little dialogue bugs you can work with. There's one that skips out a good bit of talking at the end of the mission, and one where the game gets just a little bit confused. So the idea, for the one that saves a lot of time, is to go into shift mode in the middle of someone's dialogue, if you're able to. By doing that, it just stops it. You don't have to listen to it anymore. Now, the funky little bug comes up when you use Tanner's car to take out the last ammonia tanker. Now, normally, the game assumes that you're going to be in a different vehicle. So Jones has a line... I'm sorry, Tanner has a line. Alright, that's the last of them. Better check in with Jones. And he's sitting right next to you in the car. It's a little inconsistency. It makes me giggle. However, it's slow listening to it, which makes me sad. I do the dialogue skip instead. Also, the Challenger will only go 135. If I were to apply the boost, I wouldn't be able to get any other extra speed. I would just have a funky camera angle and keep going the same speed. If I'm at any speed lower than that, though, I try and boost as much as possible. Because speed and stuff. Whoa, can't have a video game with without an explosion. Now, damage will transfer through vehicles. As you saw there, I slammed into the back of the truck, which hit the other truck. Now, that's Jones's line that he's supposed to tell you when you destroy one tanker. Since we destroyed both of them before going back to the car, he started up his first one, and I was able to shift away and completely cut out Tanner's reply and the other lines.
Jericó intenta elaborar suficiente ácido cianhídrico como para acabar con la mitad del área de la bahía. Es hora de pedir favores.
Oh yeah, there's also chemical weapons and stuff going on in this game.
Poner un rastreador en su coche y seguirlo.
Chapter 4 is the worst chapter. The absolute worst chapter. It's not fun. It's dumb. The missions are boring and awful, and their mom dresses them funny. Starting off with this race. Now, normally I'm all about the races. They're fun and quick as far as missions go. However, this vehicle is not a very good one. I really wish the dune buggy was a lot better, but it's a pretty low tier vehicle. It only goes 116, which is too slow. It also has very, very weird handling characteristics. It shares similar characteristics to the RUF sports cars and the classic Beetles, being rear engine, rear wheel drive. It has off-road tires, and that causes a loss of traction on pavement. But when you get in the dirt, you're still slipping because you're in dirt. And it makes the handling benefits of the off-road tires completely pointless. As you can see, I'm almost always fishtailing. It's rather annoying when trying to cut out wheel spin, when the thing won't stop sliding. I botched that up bad. So, I mentioned a little bit about ramming. If you are pointing at if you don't have anybody to ram, and you release the left bumper to execute the ram, you'll scoot forward really fast, and then you'll be slowed down to a fraction of the speed that you had. So it's much better to shift out and then shift back in to the vehicle, considering all of that ability bar is wasted anyways. There is one instance when I take advantage of that, but it's very tricky to take advantage of that little slowdown glitch. Maybe not necessarily a glitch, more like a slowdown punishment for missing. With punishment, if you want to talk fighting game lingo.
Me gusta liderar.
Sí, a mí también.
Te doy un 10, tío. Esto es ganar.
Eso es. ¿Y qué es esa cosa con ruedas?
¿El coche?
Qué listo eres.
So if we were going to go back and talk about understeer versus oversteer, this is a vehicle with extreme oversteer.
Ahí está la meta.
It's a shame it's just so slow. It's a lot of fun to drive in free roam.
Vale, ganamos. Nos retiramos.
Photo finish.
Disfruta.
Se acabó el...
I really wish they would have done more missions like this, actually. It's a recreation of the movie Speed. You have to keep your semi-truck rolling above 60 miles an hour, or the bomb becomes more unstable and explodes.
A más de 95 o explotar. No hay mucha lección.
And that's a golden opportunity that I'm kind of disappointed they didn't have more of. The semi-truck only goes 95 miles an hour. Unless you're going downhill. And man, we got hills, especially in this route. Now, more so than ever, it's important to implement the racing lines. That one was a little bit wide, but I was still able to go through without dropping below 60. Oh yeah, also running into vehicles and walls increases the instability of the bomb. That was very unfortunate. It took off 2 hits, one for the hauler SF in front hitting the bus, and again for the trailer hitting the bus. So things can go out of control very quickly on this mission. So here's an example of what I had mentioned before, where the camera will follow the trailer instead of the truck. I had no idea which direction I was turning in that brief moment. It's important that you boost up this hill, because the hauler SF is not good on hills. Semi-trucks in general are not good at hills. So I kind of missed the turn a little bit by a bad lot. A really bad. It's a big bad. This is an area I know I can improve time. So I'm having troubles keeping it above 60 on pavement. I quickly need to go to the winding dirt path.
Lo que llevamos detrás no es que sea muy estable.
Tampoco lo es el idiota que puso la bomba bajo el camión. Trabaja con lo que tienes.
Oh, fortune of fortune. I barely made it.
Ahora mismo necesito algo bajo que pueda meterse debajo del camión para cogerlo.
Now comes another interesting problem.
Tenemos que pasar bajo un camión.
If you touch the truck or the trailer, it bumps the bomb's instability up massively.
Vaya, ¿qué te
Okay,
parece? Puede
made it.
ponerse fea la cosa.
Oh, that was a butt clincher. Okay. My problem is I either bounce off of the back of it and then bounce into it again because I'm going too fast, or I power slide underneath there and then just keep sliding right out the other side. At which point I panic and then run into everything. Hey guys, I know you like video games. Let's have some more auto-scrollers. This is actually one of my favorite lines. It makes it great to be translated to Spanish because it's Krug, not Krug. So yeah, more auto-scroller. More me screwing around, being as inconspicuous as bird shit.
Hola, Krug. Deberías estar en la cárcel.
Jefe, lo sé, me han soltado. Las pruebas no servían, no podían retenerme.
Yeah, whoops.
Sí.
Didn't mean to rear end that person.
Jefe, sé lo que parece, pero juro que no les he dicho nada.
¿Qué te había dicho? Es Jericó.
Calla, intento oír algo.
¿Juras? ¿Y qué más?
This is just really bad traffic all throughout this section.
Oye, sobre ese trabajo del amoníaco, alguien ha hablado. Era como si en todos los coches de la ciudad hubiese un poli. Nos estaban esperando. Ten cuidado, socio, estamos muy cerca.
¿Por qué crees que te
See, look at that mess. That's ridiculous. It put a car in every single lane and had them all go the same speed. Come on, game. Come on. That's poor form.
Te estás equivocando gravemente.
No vuelvas a llamarme.
Maldición.
Genial, Jericho lo está dejando fuera.
Krug está desesperado. Lo volverá a intentar.
Más te vale tener razón.
Carl, soy Ramón.
Ramón, te llamo ahora.
No me conviene nada. Estás en deuda conmigo.
No te pongas nervioso, Ramón. Tendrás lo tuyo. He estado dentro.
No es mi problema. Evita tus obligaciones, Carl. Poco inteligente.
Vaya, parece que se te ha subido la autoestima mientras no estaba. ¿Sabes para quién trabajo?
Me importa un bledo quién sea tu jefe, Carl. Me debes dinero. Eso me pone por encima de tu jefe.
Ramón, me alegro de que por fin tengas agallas, pero no te pases.
Nope,
Yo pago
you
mis
don't
deudas.
see nothing,
Tendrás
buddy.
lo tuyo.
Ya es muy
Nope.
tarde, Krug. Tengo una reputación. Tú te lo has buscado.
¡Idiota!
I am a fly on the wall.
Krug tiene dificultades.
Listen to me roar. Oh wait.
Solo nos interesa que nos lleve hasta Jericó.
In case an auto-scroller wasn't enough
Tengo que
fun,
proteger a Krug y que así
why
nos
not?
lleve hasta Jericó.
Why not throw in an escort quest? Because these always go so well in video games. Can't have a video game without an escort quest.
Isabel, no tienes por qué ir tan rápido, ¿no?
Sí, tengo que ir rápido. Ya lo creo.
I like that line. So I decided to go after the minion that's just parked right here. I can get in a couple of cheap shots before Krug comes by and activates it. Unfortunately, I didn't do so good. I might have hit Krug instead of the person I was aiming for. So this is the instance when the takedown animation completely screwed me over. Both enemies are low health and right next to each other. I failed to shift away in time. That guy's gone. He is gone. I try and rear end him, but that Range Rover was in the way.
Bueno,
I didn't bother
Krug
trying to
está
shift
salvo
away
por ahora.
because I wanted to make sure he dead. I wanted to make sure he stayed dead. So there's one minor difference between the PC and Xbox 360 versions. If you're in the middle of a mission in the PC version, you cannot repair your vehicle. You have to finish the mission with what you got. As you can see in the Xbox 360 version, if you drive through a garage in the middle of a mission, you get your vehicle repaired. Oh hey, Solid Tree. I didn't forget about you.
El tiempo mientras tú estabas encerrado.
I was just making
Estamos
dumb.
demasiado lejos. Hay que acercarse más.
I hear you, Jones.
Así
Calm
es,
down.
Carl.
Necesitas gente, vale. Y yo soy gente. Gente de confianza. Estoy hasta el cuello de deudas. Hasta el cuello. Necesito el dinero. Estoy desesperado, jefe. Haré lo que quieras por ti. ¿Crees que llevo un micro? Te lo
So,
juro, puedes cachearme.
if you
Registra
take
mi coche y mi
these
casa.
2
Te prometo
turns
que no encontrarás nada.
quickly, you can actually force Krug to speed up exponentially. He's scripted to get to the end of this alley before you, so if you go flying through there at 80 miles an hour, he'll be going flying through at 5,080 miles an hour. Oh yeah, nothing bad ever happens in this area of town. Definitely nothing
Se
exploding.
acabó, Carl.
Escucha, lo haré bien. Voy a arreglar todo esto.
Adiós, Carl.
It's really his own fault. He was not using a real car from a real manufacturer, so that's why he was destroyed.
Hacerle eso
Think of it
a
as
uno
like
de los
the vehicular equivalent of a red
Con
shirt.
Krug muerto, solo hay 2 pistas. Pero si no podemos rastrear la señal que detonó ese coche bomba, parece que el plan B se centra.
I also believe you can skip cutscenes and dialogues faster with the 360 version than you can the PC version. So this is a fun little vehicle in a really crappy mission. Not a fan. The A4 is a lot of fun to drive though. It's a front-wheel drive car that's got a pretty good top speed.
No la pifies con esto. Tengo una caja del tamaño exacto para el cuerpo de David.
Now, I mentioned once or twice the words drive wheels. What I mean by that is which wheels a car's engine is connected to. Most common cars on the road nowadays are front-wheel drive.
Escúchame.
It's just kind of the trend.
Deja de jugar y dime qué es lo que quieres que haga.
Quiero que hagas lo que yo te diga.
This,
Vas a ir hacia el
when
lugar del
this vehicle's
intercambio,
going,
evita las calles principales.
pay attention to the
Si
front
llamas la
wheels.
atención, no habrá
They're going to be the
reunión.
ones that are throwing all of the smoke in the air, not the rear ones. The rear ones are just kind of falling behind. Don't worry, I'm going to miss a turn and then give a very good example of what I mean.
Cuidado, Jack. Eso intento. Oh, Dios.
Tanner's Challenger,
Estás llamando la atención,
his
Jack.
yellow muscle car,
¿Quieres que el hijo de
is
Tony
rear-wheel
muera o
drive.
qué?
Nadie va a morir. Allí estaremos.
Cyrus, por favor, déjame hablar con David.
Tengo la sartén por
And
el
yes, the
mango,
Dune
Tony.
Buggy too.
Si quieres
That's
que
also
tu hijo
rear-wheel
siga
drive.
respirando, irás a donde yo
The
te
only other
diga,
drive type they have
harás
is all-wheel
exactamente
drive,
lo que yo te ordene.
in this game at
Será mejor
least.
que lo hagamos.
Tú recupera a mi hijo. Cuidado.
Una vez más.
No me des motivos, Jack.
Lo haremos.
Que no te dé igual, Jack.
This actually starts getting very, very perilous.
Atento.
I had to take a safety dash into this dirt
El
path
tiempo se acaba, Jack.
to
Soy
lower
un
the
hombre
suspicion.
ocupado, y si Toby no quiere recoger a su hijo en varias
If
bolsas
I had
de cereal,
avoided running into
será
that
mejor que
person,
llegues aquí
I would have been
cuando
able to
yo
make it
diga.
without issue.
Caballeros, estaré en el vestíbulo
However,
del destino siguiente.
eh,
Cuando tenga el dinero,
I'll take with what I
sacaré
got.
al niño. Tenéis 3
I'm not gonna
minutos.
complain at all.
No faltéis.
¿Se ha ido? Muy bien. ¿Y el dinero? ¿En la bolsa?
No tengo el dinero, Jack.
Ah, no me lo puedo creer. Vale, vale. Va en dirección hacia el vestíbulo. Tenemos 3 minutos. Hay que atraer a la poli, asaltar el edificio y rescatar al chico.
¿Cómo atraemos a la poli?
Golpear y huir.
Okay, so we need to collect police officers and have 3 of them all on us at once. So, first and foremost, no, not gonna hit him. I'm just messing with you guys. I'm gonna hit this cop at the other. Nope. We are getting closer to it every time. Nope. Don't need that one. Hello, officer. Nope. I'll hit the car next to you, officer. Now, at this point, I'm expecting a police car to appear on the freeway, way, way above me. But if you look on the left, boop, just for a split second, I completely missed him. Wasn't even looking for him. That's actually the cop we want to hit. So there we go, that's the front wheels spinning. Now, I was a little bit unlucky with one of those spawns. The third cop is still loaded in, however, he's completely off the radar. He's too far behind. So I have to wait for this police car to spawn in and then drive up to the checkpoint. So it's a little unfortunate, and it's also more unfortunate that you can't skip any of these dialogues. This mission's terrible. The Hummer's not a good car. Where the dune buggy suffered from oversteer, the Hummer suffers from understeer. It will go straight instead of turning. And that's a large problem. Well, fortunately, the guardrails in this game are made out of Teflon, so it could be a lot worse. Anyways, the understeer prevents the Hummer from actually going quickly. But then again, it wouldn't matter much because this is a scripted sequence. It's impossible to outrun the cops in this section.
Soren, eres un chico encantador. Bien hecho, chico. ¿De verdad haces todo esto por mí? No te merezco.
Hooray, I'm getting away from the police. This is in the bag. I got nothing to... Oh. Thanks, game. Oh, look. There's even more of them. I was actually about to do another ram right there, but decided, since the police had kind of dispersed themselves to either side of me, I was just gonna roll. I was just gonna cancel it and keep going. I could use that the remaining ability bar for boosting. So this is a turn where understeer is a problem. No chance of clipping that inside line. More understeer. Yep, keep going straight, buddy. So there is a cutscene skip right there. If you were to stay in the vehicle and go off that ramp, there would be a slow motion camera angle showing hay bales and Hummer flying through the air with cops close behind. It'd be like one of those Duke boys are in a whole heap of trouble kind of things.
¿Robert? ¿De qué Robert estás hablando?
Te dije que me ayudará a limpiar mi nombre, ¿recuerdas?
¿Y cómo va a hacerlo?
Ahora no hay tiempo para esto, cielo.
Now, as I mentioned that this was a scripted chase sequence, that last part is not scripted. You have to organically lose the cops, and if you've got Hero Cop coming after you, there's nothing you can do.
Ese es Robert, mi jefe.
I don't believe I've explained Hero Cop quite yet. In some chases, whether free roam or mission, there will be a police officer who has better acceleration, better grip than any other car possibly should. It is terrible when you are 2 seconds away from losing the cops and Hero Cop comes zooming up the road next to you. Now, it's a pain because you have to lose Hero Cop, but it's even more annoying because Hero Cop will spawn police officers in front of you. So you'll have a whole line of cop cars pointed directly at you, as well as one chasing behind you very quickly.
Por muchas cosas. ¿Qué? Una Nos quiere muertos. Dos. El conductor es Jericho.
It's bad news when Hero Cop shows up.
Jericho también puede hacerlo. No sabemos
It is kind of
quién
nice,
va a
though.
controlar
In this
ni
section,
dónde.
Jericho's waiting for us to make the first move.
Creo que voy a tener
Well
que
played,
curarme
sir.
calmando.
Well played.
Viene hacia aquí.
Ten cuidado.
If you charge a ram and hit him at the correct time, you can actually cancel out the damage that he would do. I didn't make it, so I got damaged. Now, the game implies that you should be using alleyways and tight corridors to your advantage. However, that is a very, very poor idea.
¿Cómo vamos a acabar con Jericho?
Jericho
Así no.
will come at you regardless of what cars are around you, which means if you're going along a string of alleyways, he will continually spawn in those alleyways. And alleyways are a lot smaller than main roads.
¿Cuál es el plan?
So the best idea is to stick to the main roads and stick as far to the side of the road as you can. You won't be able to
Descuida.
dodge every attack, considering he will spawn in front of you and slam on the brakes. But for the majority, you'd be safer.
¿De verdad disfrutas
Oh, this is just messy, though. I've hit so many people, it's not funny.
Al cuerpo.
John, si Jericho va al volante, lánzate marcha atrás hacia ese desgraciado.
Cuando paremos el coche se habrá ido. Tendremos a un desconocido aturdido.
The worst part is I don't realize my mistake until
¡Hijo de...
just a few seconds.
idiota!
Lo sé. Mira por dónde vas, amigo.
Él no, tú. ¿Sabes lo que
Hey guys,
hacemos?
remember when we were towing a prison van? It got stuck on a bridge?
Nos quiere muertos. Si no le importa,
Yep.
tenemos que matar a otros para ello. La misa.
It's happened yet again.
Decidimos qué hacer. Debemos alejarnos un poco.
So yeah, this could be tidied up.
Lo sé, lo intento. Dame un minuto.
¿Desde cuándo Jericho es capaz de hacer eso?
Now, occasionally there will be a glitch where Jericho continually chases you down. When the filter goes from Blue Nightmare back to natural San
De pronto
Francisco,
todo está en calma.
Jericho should stop chasing you. Should stop chasing you.
Si Jericho puede hacer
He
lo
doesn't
mismo que tú,
exactly.
¿qué va a pasar?
In that video, I captured 3 of Jericho's bumping into me all at the same time, and I couldn't do anything because I was busy listening to their dialogue. Okay, now we start some of the fun chapter.
A ver, ¿quién está preparado para
This
cortar un
is the
pequeño?
other race where we're going to wreck the cars instead of actually finishing the route. There's only 3 competitors you need to wipe out, and there's a lot of traffic on these freeways. The problem is unlike during the defense missions, they have normal car damage. They've got normal car hit points. They're a little bit tougher to take down. Also, this particular race has got a nasty type surprise. Oh, sorry, self. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Well, damn. The Lamborghini is a very, very fast vehicle. It can easily break 200. But its downfall comes in the turns. If you brake and turn at the same time, the Lamborghini will slide. Like it almost started doing right there. Bingo. That's one jerk. Oh, that should have hit. That guy was lucky.
Ya se lo decía a mi hermano.
Although he wasn't that lucky. Oh, that's another one that should have hit. That one was really close. Oh, come on.
Lo siento, pero...
So this is a time when stick waggling actually works. The AI racers will stick to their racing path.
Oh, no, es la policía. Vaya.
There's actually a reason why I decided to wipe out the racers before losing the cops. When you get rid of the racers, all of the checkpoints and boundary markers go away. While you could still technically win by driving way off the path, if it continues for too long, the other guys will win. And this race goes, this escape goes for a while. I'm very displeased with how this chase went. It wasn't a direct instance of Hero Cop. I was just making lots and lots of mistakes whenever I would start losing the police.
Dios mío. Otro menos.
You could hear it too. Both cops ran into a vehicle, and then I ran into a vehicle.
Los estamos perdiendo. Sigue así. Sigue así.
At this point, I start getting mad. I decide I'm just going to squish him. And if I can't squish him, I'm just going to slow him down. And then I got to thinking, wait a minute, slowing down? Haha! Peace out, bitches! Haha! Like clockwork. Probably should have done that a lot sooner. This was a fun one. And this mission is the reason why I wanted to point out taxicabs. Now, the Ford Crown Victoria sedans, the civilian, police, both fit under there easily. The taxi versions, only some of them fit under there. If the taxi has the white placard, it's gonna get stuck. You'll just be kind of hanging off the edge, making really, really gross tire marks all over the place. It's embarrassing when it happens. Nobody wants to see it. And you can't really tell whether the taxi has a white or a yellow placard until you're in it.
Falsas esperanzas. Tengo otros 10 como esos por la ciudad. Divertidos.
Tío, lo tenemos crudo. Pues no, conozco a alguien que conoce a alguien. Agárrate. Tendré que hacer shift rápido a la vista superior para pillar todas esas bombas a tiempo. Este cabe sin problemas debajo de un camión de eso. Si quiero parar todas esas bombas, tengo que hacer shift a la vista
Hey,
superior y
perfect.
moverme
Just
rápido.
like in driver school. This one's particularly annoying. Theoretically, you could speed it up by picking a car as you shift towards it and speeding your car down the alleyway. While the car is going through the turns, you can move the bus out of the way. However, as soon as you shift away from your car and into the bus, your car disappears. It is infuriating. This was also something pretty remarkable. I've never had two trailers line up so perfectly like that. I have no idea how that happened, and I wish I could duplicate it. This is actually a fairly risky tactic. For whatever reason, if a big rig driver sees you slamming on your brakes, he'll slam on his brakes too, even if you're separated by a good couple of lanes. It's a little bit risky to slam on the brakes and hope that the truck will go past you.
Tenemos que avanzar un poco.
No cambies de tema, Jack. Ya me has oído. 20 pavos.
¿Oh? Vaya, mira cuántos cómics.
Es increíble cuántos clásicos...
This is another instance where I have a habit of flying underneath the trailer.
Dios, espero que ese chalado no tenga más planes horribles para la ciudad. Mira, ¿sabes qué? Esta es esa otra vida.
Ojalá.
Vamos a coger este coche y a destruir miles de dólares de medicinas falsificadas.
¿Hablas en serio? 2 décadas de persecuciones y esta ha sido la primera vez.
This is another Smash mission where I have not found the fastest route. I know how to do a few sections quickly, but as for the absolute fastest, which ones to smash, which ones not to smash, I haven't worked that out, the finer details. Unlike the street placards, the street ads, these containers have got a bit of weight to them. They do slow you down when you run into them, which is pretty unfortunate.
Vamos a por todas. Te gustará, te lo prometo.
¿En serio? ¿Dónde has...?
¿Aprendido? Escuela de vengadores.
Now, this is a fun little section.
Los camellos.
Now, while these might be great big trucks that are difficult to take down just because of how much health they have, they're also very, very slow. If you throw a wave of traffic directly at them, they can't maneuver in time. They just simply stand there and take it. Combine that with takedown animation canceling. This one is in the bag. Bumping into immobile boxes is more difficult than this.
Ve con cuidado.
Tranquilízate.
Tranquilízate.
autoafirmación.
Good. Time for the final one. I was actually kind of confused by this. Where'd he go?
La verdad, ya no recordaba ni por qué me había hecho policía.
¿Te hace hervir la sangre?
Oh boy, this is my favorite mission in the entire game. So, two people. Sam, the guy, has been bitten by a Congolese dream widow, a spider that causes psychedelic brain warps followed by coma. So we gotta get him to the hospital. And as a variant on the terrorize missions, we have to keep his heartbeat above a lethal condition.
Pero no puedes dormirte.
Creo que tienes un corte de pelo muy raro. ¿Pero qué te pasa? ¿Y por qué tu cabeza es un globo gigante? ¿Por qué no paras de dar vueltas, 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 vueltas?
You've got a great car, it goes fast, it drifts predictably. You get rewarded for stylish driving. And there's a guy tripping balls in the seat next to you. This is a great mission.
No, no te duermas. El oso tiene hambre. Te comerá.
Me siento fatal. Mariposas. Miles de mariposas. Buenas noches, enorme girasol parlante.
Oh, these are great. Oh man. They're even better in Spanish.
Araña, por Dios. Es diminuta, pero tiene un mechón que mide 1 kilómetro.
Sigue hablando, tío. Sigue hablando.
Acaba de saltarme a la cara. ¿Nos conocemos? Tu cara me suena con esos ojos tan saltones. Veo una luz. ¿Mamá? ¿Eres tú?
Dios, quédate conmigo, Sam. No mires a la luz.
Oh, vale. Yo miraré.
Espera, ¿no camines hacia la luz? Mira, quédate donde estás y disfruta de la luz. Pero no la mires ni camines hacia ella, ¿vale?
Just sit there and enjoy the light.
He hecho un asco. ¿Estamos ya en el parque?
No, Sam, es el hospital a donde vamos. El hospital.
That was unfortunate. I had to swing wide for that turn. But I was able to grab that one in a textbook fashion. Oh!
Lo logramos, Sam. Te pondrás bien.
Moment of That's the other reason why I put it on Spanish. Yippee!
Ordell Williams conduce para Jericho. Voy a encargarme.
Now there is a possibility for a dialogue skip. However, it is rather difficult to get. There's not a whole lot of dialogue that goes on before you reach your destination. It's mostly 100% dependent on traffic because the traffic is going to cut off the shortest routes. They're going to cut off your racing lines.
Cuando tenga mis habilidades, le van a adorar.
¿Qué quieres,
Oh man,
Ordell?
won't let me push any buttons. Time to swing the camera around.
Conductor de esta ciudad.
Bueno, veremos.
Swing it
¿Sabes usar un
around.
GPS?
Swing it around
Demuéstramelo.
town.
Completa esta ruta y ve al grano. Tienes el reloj en contra. Y Ordell, usa ese calificativo otra vez y te cuelgo de donde duele.
Lo tendré en cuenta, Ciro.
No me obligues. Tienes un par, tengo que admitirlo.
So this little route is surprisingly technical.
Ordell, en
The main focus is to make sure you're cutting the corners as clean as possible. Top speed doesn't matter so much. I'm not taking it very clean.
Venga, Ordel, deja de presumir. Ordel, el tiempo vuela.
Well, at least until now. That's a very sneaky checkpoint. I can't tell you how many times on casual play I went flying up the hill instead of turning. Right, and this is another instance for red skip. Oh, it's gonna be close. It's gonna be real close. Nope. Nope. 0.07 seconds. Too slow.
Genial, pero tampoco mal.
¿Y cuándo veré un poco de acción?
Tranquilo.
Similar to how the intro mission had 30 seconds before it started flashing red and white. This one's got 15 seconds
Vale.
before it flashes red and white.
Tenemos a Ordel ascendiendo. Y Leila sigue en la... La ciudad, todos congelados. Me he vuelto loco. He perdido el juicio.
So here we are, another section. You drive around for however long the game decides. It's nothing you can do can really speed up this next screen transition. Loading this cutscene and the rest of the mission, you just have to wait, I think it's 22 seconds, and then it will actually, it'll actually transfer to the next scene.
Esto es una locura. Es como seguir a esta ambulancia. Estos rastros, como un subidón de sangre. Dios, empiezo a decaer. Esto es otra cosa. Venga, puedes hacerlo. No abandones, John. ¡Oh! No os desharéis de mí.
The section actually comes in two parts. After 150 beats per minute, you will gain a very, very useful ability.
Dios. ¿Qué ha sido eso?
You'll be able to phase through traffic. You don't have to worry about running into cars anymore.
Vaya. Vale. Esto cambia el juego. Venga, idiota, veamos cómo escapas de mí ahora. Oh, sí, vuelvo a la carga.
Running into the back of the ambulance is very bad. If you do that, the ambulance will teleport a few meters ahead, and all of the trails will disappear until the ambulance starts moving again. So even if you were doing really, really well, if you bump into the ambulance, it's all gone. I'm not a fan of this part. It's not bad. At least it's not an... Well, I guess it is kind of like an auto-scroller. Oh, man. I thought we were done with those. Lo and behold. Okay, so we are out of Nightmare San Francisco, back into regular San Francisco. If you run into traffic while the car is still glowing yellow, you will phase them out of existence. You will delete someone from reality. That's awesome and terrifying power. So here's an interesting little bit. The Dykeman Boldus that I'm driving right now never spawns with a trailer. Only the Hauler SF will spawn with a trailer, for whatever reason. The Boldus is actually kind of fun to drive. It's got a lot of weight behind it, so it can shove stuff out of the way. But because all of the weight is dangling on the front wheels, it drifts pretty easy. So you can create some stupid-looking power slides. I actually made an enormous error at this point. I was not paying attention to where I was going, and missed a pretty significant shortcut. I actually decided that the shortcut was bad enough I needed to get. There is a backup route, but it's still really curvy. You can't take it quickly, especially not in a large vehicle, like the Boldus. The Boldius. It's this section right here. If you skip this little shortcut that goes past the radio tower, you have a lot of hairpins you have to negotiate. And they are cop-covered hairpins, I might add. Okay, here's the trick with ram canceling. I'm sorry, with misfiring a ram. I was able to cut a quick angle without sliding too much. I was penalized by going down to 30 miles an hour, but I would have been going that slow to make the turn anyways, so... I was actually trying to do a takedown animation cancel, but there really wasn't any need. He didn't die directly in front of me. That one did, and I'm not exactly sure why. That would be the one reason why this mission is ruined. Because of all the cops wrecking. Every few seconds, you lose control of your vehicle. You just keep going straight no matter where you're pointed. That's frustrating. Especially if you're swarmed by police vehicles. So, Samsung, second verse, we just keep throwing traffic at him until he stops. Trying to hit him head on as much as possible. Now, it's important that you act quickly and efficiently. All the cars that miss end up going towards your truck, and your truck is surrounded by police vehicles. It's very likely that the police will start arresting me. Fortunately, Foghorn ran over something and wrecked his truck. So, handy that worked out. Now this is an exciting race. The Ford RS200 is a lot of fun to drive. It's part of the Group B rally class. Back in the 1980s, there was a section for rally racing, which is a timed race over a barely used section of road. Oftentimes, it's gravel. Well, these cars were in the unlimited class. There were no restrictions on how fast you could go or what modifications you could put on your vehicle. So these purpose-built machines were created: the Lancia Stratos, the Ford RS200, and the Audi Quattro. Those are the ones that are appearing in this game, at least. The reason you don't see the Group B anymore in modern rally racing tournaments is because the vehicles were too powerful. They were outlawed because there were too many fatalities. Drivers were dying behind the wheel of these monstrosities far too frequently. So now they're just a highlight in history of cars that were too fast. In case you haven't gathered by that description, these are not your average vehicles. For example, this Ford RS200 I'm driving is all-wheel drive, but the engine is sitting right behind the driver's seat. In fact, you can see it. You can. It's just a little 4-cylinder engine, but all it's powering is wheels, roll cage, and a seat. It's a lot of fun to drive. This is one of my favorite cars in the game.
Esto sería más fácil si no hubiese otros coches en la carrera.
¿Cierto? Mira ese movimiento. Quiero decir que está chupado.
¡Genial! ¡Ganamos!
Solo vamos en cabeza.
¡Ganamos!
I love you, Ayumu.
¡Venga!
¡Vamos ganando, John!
¿Cómo me has llamado?
Jun, es tu nombre, hermano.
Y haber oído. No importa.
¡Buen derrape!
Para eso estamos aquí, ¿no?
Para eso y para ganar la carrera. ¡Nos abrimos paso! ¡Despejen!
Ese es mi chico.
Recta final, Jun. Que vea Jericho que no tenemos miedo.
¿Quieres ganar desesperadamente para que nos deje en paz?
Exacto.
I love the dialogue in this game. It has fantastic writing. Fantastic writing in a racing game. Who would have thought?
¡Un arañazo!
Nada de qué preocuparse.
¡Bien! ¡Lo logramos! Jericho estará feliz con esta victoria. Tal vez nos deje irnos con vida.
Ayumu, ¿sí?
Sé listo. Hazlo limpiamente.
Lo intentaré.
¿Te has dado?
¿Sí?
Recuerda, mantén la calma con orden. Si acaba como Car Crew, braseado, hará lo mismo contigo.
Vale, no lo presionaré.
Puedo saber a qué esperas.
A nada.
Pues muévete.
Vaya, no han tardado mucho.
Nunca me dejes en paz. Despístanos. Después te diré a dónde ir.
Now, this is actually a very, very difficult escape mission.
Por cierto, tú eres...
Soy tu confidente.
While you are in a very quick vehicle, the Audi R8 can easily break 200 and is all-wheel drive to boot. The cops you're going up against are the Corvette police cars. They are quite quick and quite ferocious.
¿Cuál es la agenda de...
However, they are no match for 90-degree turns over sidewalks.
No te pares.
I was actually quite fortunate. I was afraid I was going to fall victim to Hero Cop.
Al polígono industrial que hay al sur. Solo
Don't worry, he shows up in this mission.
¿Es que tienes una varita mágica?
No, solo estaba...
Una palabra más, Orwell. Solo una.
Dime por qué la poli sabía dónde encontrarte.
No.
¿Qué tiene este coche?
Voy en el escuadrón.
So after we escape the cops, we have to escape the cops. Don't ask. Here is a glitch that I mentioned way back earlier. The curb, if you
Mientras no nos
go up that curb at just the right angle, you can skip up it quickly while the police officers all get stuck. Well, this is actually really, really, really sloppy.
Vayamos, hay algo que...
I should have gotten away except for Hero Cup. Now look what happens when Hero Cup is
No
around.
hay nada más que puedas hacer.
I restarted. I was not gonna waste my time trying to lose them around Golden Gate Park
Va a ser lo más normal. ¿Estás preparada?
or wherever I was going.
No voy a evaluar tu conducción. Llévame a mi destino y punto. Continúa.
Now that is a rougher hit, but I'm able to carry more speed exiting the garage, which I think is the true reason why you're able to get away.
Donde quiera que vayamos, hay algo que...
Llévame al almacén de las aceras
That
verdes.
solid curb just adds that little bit of edge. This loading trigger to end the mission isn't actually at the barn. We just let the guy out here, and he has to walk. Oh no, wait.
¿Y ahora?
Es para ti.
Nope, can't skip this dialogue.
Diga.
No sé qué está ocurriendo, Ordel, pero sigue así. Hay un trabajo que hacer. Algo grande. Pifiarla no es una opción. ¿Me explico?
Claro, lo entiendo. Vaya, parece que a Ordel le gusta moverse. Aprovecharé la ocasión de apuntarme a la fiesta. Ahora estamos avanzando. Ordel casi nos ha descubierto el plan terrorista de Jericó. Y tenemos una nueva cara en la ciudad. Y este trabajo
So this
importante
guy
del que
is going to
habló
be very, very important in this story. Ah, that's a lie. We're never going to see him again.
¿Cuánto dinero llevamos ahí detrás?
Lo de todas las semanas.
Sí, pero ¿cuánto es eso? Se me olvida.
15 millones.
A mucha gente le gustaría echarle el guante a esa pasta.
¿Y por qué crees que lo transportamos en un furgón blindado?
So this truck is fun, even though it's classified as a very heavy vehicle. Up there with ambulances, the ammonia tankers, and others. It has a teeny tiny horn. It just kind of goes meep meep. I love it. All throughout the beginning of the mission I was honking.
He de buscar el modo de proteger el furgón. Toma esa.
Now this time around, I take this defense mission a little bit safer. I take down the attackers as quick as I possibly can, spending more time in shift than I did in the previous mission.
Adiós. A ver, ¿dónde está el resto de la banda?
Golden. Now, once again, these guys do have reduced hit points. They're much weaker than normally.
Bueno, pues mi novio dijo...
Oh, sí que no soy tu novio.
Bueno, aún no. Quizá. ¡Lo logramos!
That was a little bit unfortunate.
Vale, el siguiente.
I missed the second one because I shifted too close. The first one, he just dodged me because I forgot to stick waggle.
Se acabó tu papel. Seguro que hay más de dónde vino este.
Here we go. Here's a big guy. Quickest way to take them out is ram them from the front and with the actual ramming maneuver, and then boost into the back of them for rear end collision. It kind of squishes them. They just go bonk bonk and gone. I actually thought I was supposed to be going after that truck. That was a very, very sneaky types bad man. Very sneaky indeed. No thank you, game. I don't need help. I got this.
A ver, ¿dónde está el resto de estos idiotas?
I think I already used this car, actually. That was a glancing blow anyways. I did hardly anything to him. Oh, I take that back. I guess I did something to him. This is a little unfortunate. I was anticipating the car behind the truck to be in motion still. Also, it was an AMC Pacer. They're pretty crap when it comes to stopping vehicles. They're not utter or complete crap. They're just pretty crap. Well, that was a good hit.
Seguro que hay más. 15 millones van a atraer a muchas ratas.
Ooh, that was a glancing blow with him hitting my side instead of the other way around. And I shifted into the wrong vehicle, going the wrong direction. Hey, twofer. I jumped into that bus to honk the horn. It was a mistake jump, but decided to take advantage of it to toot some. Unfortunately, he's already boosted away. Oh yeah, the AI drivers have the same abilities you do. There we go, that polished him off. Cool. Now we just have these scant few. And we're dunsies. Well, that was a mistake. Okay, let's try that again. Ooh. Nearly had him. Quick takedown animation cancel. Shifting away before it can even happen.
Tras 40 años buscando novio, mi hija al fin te encontré.
And flawless. So I suspect a crow was behind it all along.
Ah, sí. El blindado apenas tiene arañazos.
I believe there's a way to optimize those defense missions, but the damage that the enemies do is inconsistent. Sometimes they'll hit for a large amount of damage, sometimes they'll hit for hardly any. It's too much of a risk to let some attackers through for a faster time. Until further testing can be done. I believe there's a way the van can barely escape. Now this mission is fairly important. The order of it, rather. Now, I do this specific order for a couple of reasons. One, the Lamborghini Jalpa that I'm driving now starts off pointing the opposite direction from this repair shop. The longer you wait, the further away it gets from being repaired, to the point where going back to the repair shop is no longer a viable option. It just takes too much time. So grab this one first, before it can get too far away. The next one I'm going to go after is a Lancia Stratos, one of the Group B rally cars that we just saw. It's the wedge-shaped one. Oh, yeah, I forgot about this. So I've ruined many attempts of this mission by bouncing the cars around inside the trailers. Particularly the Lamborghini. That one is always very sensitive to trailers, for whatever reason.
Lo siento, tío. Mi causa es mejor que la tuya. Sí. El tiempo pasa. Oh, sí.
Now, these spectacular boost drifts are completely unintentional. I was trying to straighten out, and I was getting too overeager with the boost controls. This one's also a little bit tricky. The truck is at a weird angle, and it makes it difficult to drive in there without sliding past the truck. Sliding past the truck has happened quite a bit. More times than I'd like to admit. Now, this is the other reason why we do the order that we do. The Aston Martin DB5 needs to get into the back of a truck that's driving around in traffic. This is one of the better positions. The longer you wait, the closer the truck will get to you. However, we've got a mission on the other side of San Francisco Bay after we finish this one. And the last car, besides the Aston Martin, is over on the other side of San Francisco Bay. So it just kind of works out nicely. The Aston Martin is... how can I describe it? It's beautifully awful. It has really poor acceleration, pretty bad top speed. It doesn't control very well while it's drifting, but it has remarkable grip up until you start drifting. When you start drifting, all the speed goes away, all the grip goes away. But it can hug corners quite readily. Hey, there's my truck. Yeah, see you later, jerks. Wouldn't want to be ya. Right. Now we get to the last one. This is the RUF. Car nuts and people familiar with racing games might have noticed that this car looks an awful lot like a Porsche. You are half correct in that. RUF is a tuning shop. It is a modifying shop that takes Porsches and turns them into faster Porsches. It's Porsche is very guarded with their brand, especially when it comes to racing games. Oftentimes, if a person making a racing game can't convince Porsche to give them the license to use Porsche vehicles, they'll simply go to RUF. In all honesty, choosing between a Porsche and a faster Porsche, might as well just go with RUF. For people who who are more familiar with vehicles, you could equate RUF to a tuning shop like Roush or Saline, while they were still modifying Mustangs before they began building their own awesome cars. Which is another thing. Racing games really, especially the simulation ones, rely on licensing. Not every manufacturer wants to give up the rights to their vehicle to find out that it's the absolute slowest. Here's another scripted dialogue section. No matter what I do with the vehicle, it will not make the dialogue speed up or the next section load any faster. So I decide that Jaguar is going to have a bad day. Get bent, Jaguar. Oh, yay, my favorite vehicle.
Ordel, necesito que te entregues al máximo.
¿Qué está pasando?
No necesitas saber los detalles. Jericho tiene un problema que solucionar. Llévame al destino y yo lo arreglaré. Estás empezando a enfadarme.
So nothing going on. The Hummer sucks to drive, still.
Estamos cerca. Atento.
Now here's play mechanic I really wish they would have done more. You are currently remote controlling your vehicle from behind. From the Hummer H3, you are controlling the Dodge Challenger. It's a lot of fun and really, really odd and unique. If you could do this in like a race or a bomb defusal mission, that would be a lot of fun. A takedown mission even. It's really, really challenging. Especially if you're not familiar with how the vehicles behave. While you're in remote control mode, the cars have, well, rather, Tanner's Dodge has got higher grip, similar to if you were in dashboard mode, zoomed in. For whatever reason, when you're zoomed in dashboard cam, your vehicle gets extra grip. I guess to cut back on disorienting drivers with the weird camera angle. I don't really implement in the speedrun, simply because there's no need to. A couple of the challenges, especially the high-speed challenges and checkpoint race activities, you do need to use that exploit. It makes battling on the freeway much easier.
Cuidado, Ordel, no lo pierdas. Puedes hacerlo mejor.
Ese es John Tanner. Es muy difícil
One time,
seguirlo.
when I was completing this mission, a bug happened. After this last checkpoint, the Hummer turned instantly to rubber. For whatever reason, the scripting, where control goes from Tanner's Dodge back to the H3 in the middle of this cutscene, it made the Hummer freak out and just bounce everywhere. I think it might have had something to do with the Challenger being trapped or stuck in a place. The Hummer is on autopilot still. I can't drive it closer to Tanner's car until now. Now I'm back in control of the Hummer. Unfortunately, Jericho's in control of my body. That sucks a little bit. It sucks even more that you learn this in an unskippable cutscene.
Lo siento, Jones, pero voy a cogerte prestado un rato.
Hola, Tanner. Me alegro de que hayas venido. Es una sensación extraña, ¿no? ¿Tener a otra persona al volante?
Sé lo de la bomba. Eres escoria, pero nunca te tuve por un terrorista.
No lo pillas, ¿eh? Tienes los ojos en la calle cuando deberías velar por tu propio pellejo. Te veré en el infierno, Tanner.
¿Qué demonios ocurre?
Tú agárrate fuerte.
Here I am mashing A to speed it up. It doesn't do anything, but it makes me feel like it's speeding up.
¿Qué diablos acaba de pasar?
Lo siento, socio. Te he tenido que tomar prestado.
¿Qué? Me siento...
A ver, céntrate, hombre. Han descubierto a Ordel. Podría estar muerto. Jericho está sobre...
We'll just add him to the pile of bodies we got going on. Sorry, Ordell. You ran out of usefulness. So, on to the final chapter. We started off with the freeway race. This race is an enormous pain. It's a long freeway race, but there's 8 people in it, so wrecking all 7 competitors is not exactly a viable strategy. That just takes way too long. So instead you have to finish it legitimately. The problem with finishing it legitimately is that it's a rather difficult race. Everybody's in a supercar that can easily break 200. And on top of that, there's a lot of freeway traffic. So watch this right here. I almost threw my controller at that moment. What happened is I bumped into the car, it came to a stop. I hit the gas and turned the wheel, assuming the car, the AI car, was going to reverse. Well, the AI car didn't reverse as quick as I wanted him to, so I teleported into the car that was blocking me. As I was reversing, I turned a direction to just get the damn thing out of the way completely, and the AI driver in my car turned the same exact direction that I was turning. You couldn't orchestrate that kind of... You couldn't make that happen if you wanted to. That was enormously bad AI driving. In races, you do not want the AI driver to drive at all. Unless you like being in last place. By a large margin. I think that line happens whenever you restart the mission. Thanks, game. I know I screwed it up once. Even when it was looking good. Way to rub it in. The Zonda is a bit of a strange vehicle to control. It has this weird property where if you turn the control stick too hard while hitting the gas, it will start sliding. Start sliding in an alarming fashion, I might add. Yeah, I learned my lesson. I'm going back to the correct side of the freeway. Screw going fast. I want to finish. That's a lie. I'd rather go fast than finish slow. Excuse me, pardon me. That was misfortune. All kinds of misfortune. I didn't realize I was running into a bus until it was too late.
Pues sí, no parece muy probable.
And as you can see, whenever you boost and are not pointed directly straight, you also start sliding, making this thing a bit of a handful. Again, I could go to dashboard cam and then hold the right stick forward to zoom in, but it's very disorienting. I have troubles looking at it. I couldn't imagine somebody else watching it too. I've choked on this race so many times though. It's just those last few checkpoints. For whatever reason, the traffic gets extra thick, it seems.
Victoria.
Vale, ahora billetes de avión y a la universidad.
Por cierto.
And that's the reason why I like Ayumu and June. Ayumu's line is, and by the way, give me back my brother. Go find your own body, go fight your own battles. Ayumu's the only one who's had enough of John Tanner's possession shit. He calls him on it. He's like, geez, get out of here, dude. Thanks, but it's creepy. This was an annoyance. I had a 60-meter drift, but the game hadn't told me I needed a drift yet. I was a little bit too early. Oh well, no harm, no foul. I was still able to get the cycles for most of the other quick ones.
San Francisco.
Now for this section, I wasted a little bit of time. I'm looking for a car that can break 150. It's actually surprisingly difficult, especially reaching 150 in a small amount of room. the CTSV, the police cruisers, the Jaguars. Those are the most likely ones you can find in traffic that will easily get you over 150. Now, I have no idea why I was having so much trouble with this. It's a huge pain because you can't see anything around that wall. And I was just getting boned on traffic. Under normal circumstances, the initial car that I crashed after I beat the 150 mile per hour one, I was getting bonk into the Corvette Cruiser that was right on the other side of the bridge. However, I didn't get the 100 miles an hour over traffic though. Oh well. Could have been done faster, but not much faster. I'm satisfied. Okay. So, the cutscene. John Tanner's like, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of having to save everybody. And having to save my own self. So Joan is like, can it? We've got a tip. And Tanner's like, alright, let's get her. And not so many words. This is a little bit treacherous. The entrance to this alleyway is a good distance back. Oh hey, what kind of car is that one? Oh, it's not a real car. Spoilers, it explodes.
Ahora tenemos bien de qué ocupar.
No, esta es nuestra oportunidad de cogerla.
This is just more freeway driving, more high-speed freeway driving. The only thing interesting to note is this hill right here. It is a significant speed loss if you don't boost. And the maximum level ability bar can't boost the entire distance up the hill. So you need to take it in short bursts, otherwise you'll drop below 130 and the jerk behind you will be able to catch up. If you can keep it above 130 for the better part of this freeway, no one will be able to even touch you, much less screw up your racing lines and spin you out.
Tiene que estar aquí. Sigue, amigo. ¿Qué otra opción hay?
Also, you can't really avoid the enemies. There's a few scripted sections where they pop in. And to make it even more pointless, as soon as you hit this checkpoint on Golden Gate Bridge, all of the enemies disappear. They stop chasing you. There is an animation skip that I halfway get coming up here. When you get close enough for Layla's Hummer to be in view, Jones will say, take her out, and I don't mean to dinner. The game will slow down and zoom in on the Hummer and, you know, make sure you know who you're supposed to be going after. Ah, that was a nice little one, too. Tanner's Dodge rammed into the rear of Layla's Hummer immediately after I stopped it dead. This is the cutscene I was trying to avoid, but because I shifted away, the dialogue was cut out. This part made me very angry. We're both in Hummers. I have supernatural boost abilities, and she's getting away. There's a small bug. In this part right here, the cop won't appear, so Layla is just kind of moseying over to the police van on her own accord.
¿Seguimos a estos tipos hasta la comisaría? ¿Vamos a polis buenos y malos?
Es perder el tiempo, Jones. Este no es su primer rodeo. no lograremos nada.
This is also an unskippable cutscene. Trust me, it would have been mashed straight
Pero
through.
por ley la fuera, Jericó tendrá que salir de su escondrijo y enfrentarse a mí.
Do you want to play a game of pre-rendered versus game engine? It's harder than you think. I was very impressed with the animation of this game, to be perfectly honest.
¿Esperar a que Jericó venga por nosotros?
Leila está en la calle, pero no hablará. Ya no tenemos pistas.
Yes, comparing this to Driver 2, Driver 2 was an abomination. It looked bad. Ah, but this is a great game. So, looks like we got 3 missions left. It's another Smash mission with our ill-fated cops. They got in trouble for smashing all the fake meds in the last mission, so now they're doing it on a personal vendetta.
Vale.
Vale.
Sí, me has convencido.
Ah, sí. Vamos
Now,
a
the
ver.
Q7 doesn't slow down as much whenever you hit one of the smashable boxes that you're supposed to.
Aquí estamos, los nuevos justicieros.
However, the
Guerrero contra el crimen.
Necesitaremos trajes o algo.
handling is much worse compared to the Crown Vic cruiser. It takes more room to stop and turn this enormous beast. The Q7 is actually frightfully heavy.
No pasa nada.
One mission I wish they would have made was roping off a section,
Bien, David.
little area, and telling you to smash all of the objects in that area. You could make your own route to take out the objects in whatever is most efficient.
Es lo que quería oír.
They didn't do that, though. I feel like that was an opportunity missed.
Venga, un camión como el de la última vez.
Persigamos a esos vendedores de
Now, there's one little thing
Quiero un coche.
that the game does not explicitly tell you, but sets up for. If you tip over one of these trucks, if you cause them to go up on 2 wheels all the way to their side, they immediately drop all their cargo and are considered wrecked just by getting them up on their side. That was close. That was obnoxiously close, but he still landed. This area can also be improved. The further away from that alleyway that this chase started in, the more you have to backtrack.
Uy, ¿en serio? No es nada.
¿Dónde estábamos?
Disfrutando de nuestro trabajo.
Oh man, nearly missed that turn. Ho ho geez.
Con un poco de cuidado.
Game,
Ya no tienes que presentar
please.
partes de accidentes.
That was very poor sportsmanship. They parked 2 massive vehicles right in front of my way. Why you gotta do that, game? Oh well. It was only a minor time loss. I actually thought I was going to go back to wrecking vehicles. I was one alleyway too early.
Entonces, ¿cuál es el plan?
¿Sabes qué? Antes de nada,
So, shift into this vehicle as it's exiting the alleyway. It tries to make a turn and bonk! Done. All of the meds are gone, even though the truck landed back on its wheels.
y esto es todo.
Yo diría que sí.
¿Satisfecho?
Estaré satisfecho cuando hayas pensado en...
Here goes a fairly tricky escape mission. It's, there's a very high likelihood for Hero Cop to show up in this mission. In fact,
De mil amores.
I'll point out the point when Hero Cop did show up. It wasn't a massive inconvenience. I was already in a position to lose the cops again easily. but it sucks. It's bad when Hero Cop steps in. Oh, gee, thanks, traffic. Thanks, game. I was still really mad about getting screwed over by the traffic in that race. I was about to restart this mission just because that Hummer bumped into me. Now, there are lots of unfortunate traffic hits in this mission. This one can definitely be executed better. But hey, mission complete, and I got a new record, so it was good enough. Now you can tell you have Hero Cop after you because police officers will continually spawn in front of you. Infinitely, I might add. The faster you go, the faster you jump into the next spawn. So here we go. Didn't really need to repair the vehicle, but figured while I'm there, might as well. And here we go. This is Hero Cop. Should have easily lost them all. Nope. If you make one mistake, Hero Cop is after you again. For that split second, it restarted the entire counter. That is where I went from saltine cracker to salt and vinegar chips, kind of salty. That's the difficult section, though. Escaping in this second section is very easy. In fact, you can accidentally escape. The next plot point is we need to drive to the back of a truck. Drive inside the back of a truck on a freeway. We're secret agents, and that is our secret agent disappearing spot. It totally works in Spy Hunter, so it works in every video game. Come on, man. Respect the canon. So, the McLaren SLR is can easily beat 200. The cops start having difficulty following you through traffic whenever you get to about 180. So, even Hero Cop has got troubles. There he goes. He slammed into somebody. And hey, what do you know? There's police cars on either side of the damn thing. So yeah, it's scripted. You're never getting away. Fortunately, you don't need to escape the cops to complete the mission. Alright, now that previously on San Francisco thing pops up whenever you get to the second last mission of the game, of the chapter I mean. And here we go, this is a final story mission. Oh man, oh man.
Un callejón entre Bryant y Craig. ¿Te suena?
No sé, ¿tú qué crees?
Creo que necesitas dormir. Anímate. ¿Apetece un tip?
Sí, sí.
Sorry. RIP headphone users.
Voy a tirar este maldito trasto por la ventanilla.
This is more standard fare, just making sure the racing lines are nice and clean, and dodging traffic where you need to. I needed to, and I didn't very well. No matter, here's the checkpoint. Now, the Jericho mission is actually a whole string of miniature segments. You have, like, a maze section where you go through a deserted San Francisco. The point is, whenever it goes to a fixed camera position, is to follow whichever road had the crows on it. Now, the fixed camera is another thing I wish they would have done. It would have been cool to drive around in a parking garage, and Tanner can only see through surveillance cameras. That would have been kind of interesting. Oh well. Just more implementation of racing lines. In the in-between sections, when you go to normal camera mode like this, it's the same amount of time. No matter what you do, you can just kind of screw around. That's why I like to run into stuff. Now, if you notice, our heads-up display is disabled, making for a more cinematic experience. Also making for a more difficult experience. I'll explain in a second. There's a very useful little trick that I believe was programmer intended. If you notice, the heads-up display was off. I restart the mission, heads-up display is on. I believe if the cinematic escape from Jericho is too difficult, the heads-up display automatically turns on when you restart the mission to give you a fighting chance. Playing this through casually, it is nerve-wracking. You don't really know where Jericho's coming from, and you don't really have a clear map at hand so that you can easily dodge him. Again, the game tells you to go through alleys, but that's a terrible idea, because Jericho has got an infinitely spawning bunch of trucks. If you go down an alley, they've just got a nice long gun barrel to ram into you. There's no way you can really avoid them. Point in case.
No.
That was way too close. That was bad close. It was close bad, let me tell you. Fortunately, with the with all of your heads-up display turned back on, you have a much easier time. Oh hey, check it out. This is where we died. Oh, I mean, no spoilers, no. Excuse me, sir. Sir, excuse. Oh, wait a minute. I'm gonna punch it. And then I'm gonna screw up because Tanner decided to have a dialogue. That actually happens again. For whatever reason, Tanner's dialogue has to finish before the next section loads. So I was delayed by a few seconds because Tanner had to quit flapping his yap. This one was incredibly difficult on casual because I never thought to teleport ahead of Jericho, since Jericho is the one that's possessing cars and throwing them at you. Also, I didn't trust the AI driver to dodge them well enough.
Voy a por ti, Jericho. ¿Me oyes?
There's a little bit more stick waggling. That one hit immobilized Jericho, which lets these next few hits go in even cleaner. He's even running into vehicles that I'm not even controlling anymore. Even if he does spawn in vehicles to fight me, he's already taken way too much damage too quick. Oh, that was going to be beautiful. He's taken too much damage already. Another animation cancel. Cutscene skip. And we get into the most difficult section of the game.
Hola, Tanner.
No deberías estar aquí. Esto es mi cabeza.
Tú siempre con las reglas. No hagas esto o aquello.
Ya sé qué pasa aquí. Sé que esto es una especie de sueño.
Sabes que no es un sueño, Tanner. Estás en coma. Te estás muriendo.
A ver si me aclaro.
So, just like Jericho's prison van all the way back at the beginning of the game, this pickup truck is made of depleted Dream uranium. Oh yeah, and he can throw stuff at you. For this first section, it's just a matter of avoiding. You just want to dodge the cars and stick close enough to him. Fortunately, he stops throwing cars when you get a certain distance behind him. The easiest way to avoid cars being flung at you is to make slow serpentine motions, as opposed to the super quick stick waggling that's been taking place throughout the majority of the game. This is because the vehicles target where they think your car will be when it's thrown. So if you're turning one direction, for the split second the car's thrown, you can just easily move to the other direction. Piece of cake. That's a lie. This was incredibly nerve-wracking. It is not fun. when a driving game becomes a bullet hell game, yeah, some nerves get frayed. Unfortunately, there really isn't any way to speed it up either. You're driving to a certain destination. The faster you go, the faster Jericho goes. But there's so much stuff to avoid. It's... just making it through is impressive. Never mind routing. That was an unlucky shot. And that was unlucky wheel spin. That was mismanagement of my entire ability bar. So, Jericho could throw everything except buses and big rigs. He usually sticks to compacts and sports cars. Or filler traffic. That would be just the regular sedans. Nothing special about them. Those little guys, the micro cars. There goes another one. It's the Aston Martin Signet, however you say that. It's a weird little tiny car. I never driven it much. When there's better Aston Martins. So this is where the tables turn. After 2 cutscenes of skipping, we are fed up with Jericho. Now I can do damage to him. And now the tables have turned, you criminal scum. So the easiest tactic to make sure Jericho doesn't get away and you do maximum damage to him is to shift a little bit ahead of him and select a vehicle that can just hit him straight on. That will slow him down, which gives you a chance. Gives you a chance to make up some ground if you're behind, or get clear of any oncoming cars flying your way. Now, what? I guess that wasn't a real person then. So, don't worry about that. It is possible to grab Jericho's cars and throw them back at him. There's a split second where the vehicle will appear white. I got that one a little too late. During that split second when the vehicle turns white, you have it selected with your cursor. Oh, it's getting close. Oh, that's bad. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, this is a butt clincher. Fire truck for the finish. Alright. It's at this point I discovered you cannot actually wreck your car, despite how hard you try. And just like earlier, the cutscenes won't load if Tanner's flapping his yap. So that was an error. Not necessarily an error, more of a frustration. Okay. Now, there is a dialogue skip on this bridge. It's called the happening skip. The radio announcer watches the chemical bomb go off and says, "Oh no, it's happening, it's happening." You can skip out the happening part by keeping a steady racing line through here. However, the Troll PD will stop you. Watch this guy. He cut 2 lanes over in traffic to run into me. That cop is programmed to trash your ride. To be honest, I have no idea if I actually got happening skip or not, because it's in Spanish. I'm gonna assume that I did because I didn't hear it happening.
¿Electricidad estática? No hay radio. ¿Qué tiene que ver con el gas venenoso? Vale, sigo vivo. No es ácido cianhídrico. Era una maldita cortina de humo. ¿Pero por qué? El centro. ¿Qué hace Jericó en el centro? ¿Presos? Se están fugando. Está en la maldita prisión.
I hope you noticed this top speed of the Camaro going over those freeway bridges. It is a remarkably quick vehicle. It's up there as one of the faster ones. It's pretty nice that the game gives you a really fast car after taking away your powers. Chasing down Jericho with the Challenger would have been challengering. I'm sorry. This is also another scripted route. Jericho will drive a certain path and will come to a split depending on how much you've damaged him. You need to damage him before he completes his little route. At that point, he'll turn into an alley and activate the final cutscene. If you don't damage him in time, or worse, you push him past the alleyway by ramming into him while he slows down, he will go around the block another time, swerving back and forth, trying to run you off the road, and generally wasting time. Now, if the goal was only to wipe out Jericho, to turn his truck into scrap, that would be pretty easy. He's half damage right now, and there's still a lot of driving left to do. However, Jericho is scripted to continue driving. He will get to the point where his truck starts smoking and then take no more damage. After that point, you can just kind of take off. I don't have the route memorized, but I could pretty much wait at the ending cutscene for him. One little thing I discovered, it is faster to stick to Jericho's tail and go through the hole he punches in that police barricade than to take the intended car ramp. It's much quicker. And there we go, Jericho will no longer be damaged. He's at the maximum damage threshold. He's still going to be a jerk, though, with a depleted uranium truck. Hey, Jericho, you know who's slow? You! You can actually skip that cutscene by shifting, similar to how we skipped the cutscene in the H3 chase way back in Chapter 4. I'll admit I do not know which route he's going to take, so I was just going to wait for him to pass me. It's a good thing I slammed into that truck. Good thing I slammed into that car, otherwise I would have missed.
Jones, sigo persiguiendo a Jericó. Va hacia Hunter's Point. Parece que a los muelles. Entendido, Hunter's Point. Voy para allá.
So that was a final warning of sorts. You need to damage Jericho quickly because the final cutscene's coming up. We can't really damage him, so I just honk at him. I make my car say mean things at him. I make my car hurt his car's feelings.
¿A dónde huyes ahora, Jericó?
Now, time is when the screen fades to black, and it will activate the final cutscene. It's about halfway down this alleyway. If you push Jericho past this entrance, he will go around the block and take forever. And time. That's got it. Thanks for watching my speedrun and listening to my commentary. I'll be back with a new game proper. Speedrun.